Level 1 Unicorn. The unicorn is a horse with a horn, and somehow that makes it magical. This is the participation trophy of mythical creatures, beloved by 6-year-olds and people who put glitter on everything. Unicorns don't breathe fire, they don't have venomous fangs, they can't fly. They're literally just horses that grew a pointy forehead accessory. Their special power? Being pure and virtuous, which in mythological terms means absolutely useless in any actual conflict. The worst part, the unicorn's defining trait is that it can only be tamed by a virgin, which makes it the mythical creature equivalent of a purity ring. It's not powerful, it's not dangerous, it's not even particularly interesting. It's a horse that sparkles and appeals to people who think cupcakes are a personality trait. The unicorn is the worst mythical creature because it represents everything that happens when mythology gets sanitized for mass marketing. It's magical in the same way a Hallmark card is meaningful. Technically, yes, but actually no. Level 2 Leprechaun. A leprechaun is a tiny Irish man who guards a pot of gold and grants wishes if you catch him, which immediately raises the question, why would a powerful magical being be defeated by simple capture? Leprechauns stand about 2 feet tall, wear green outfits that look like rejected St. Patrick's Day costumes, and spend their entire existence doing cobbler work and hiding money. This is the mythical creature equivalent of a paranoid accountant with dwarfism. Their powers are pathetically limited. They can grant wishes, but only if caught, and they're notoriously tricky about twisting wish wording. So you capture a magical being and your reward is dealing with someone who acts like they just read the genie chapter of How to Be Annoying for Dummies. They can teleport, but apparently not well enough to avoid capture. They have gold, but instead of using it, they just guard it obsessively, like fantasy hoarders. The leprechaun exists in mythology as a cautionary tale about greed, but in practice it's just a mascot for breakfast cereal and beer marketing. They're not intimidating, they're not powerful, and they're not even memorable beyond being short Irish stereotypes. The leprechaun is a mythical creature that could be replaced by a particularly aggressive garden gnome, and nobody would notice the difference. It's Folklore's Participation Award, technically magical, actually embarrassing. Level 3 Werewolf. The werewolf is only scary one night a month, which makes it the mythical creature equivalent of a part-time job. For 29 days, you're a regular person dealing with regular problems, and then for one night you turn into a wolf-human hybrid that's vulnerable to silver, a metal so common your grandmother probably has silverware made of it. This is the creature that's supposed to terrify villagers? A guy who gets furry on a predictable schedule? Modern media try to make werewolves cool by giving them pack dynamics and supernatural strength, but the fundamental problem remains you're only dangerous during full moons, which means you're useless 96% of the time. The werewolf is the mythical creature for people who want to feel dangerous without actually committing to being a monster. It's mythology's equivalent of someone who goes to the gym once a week and calls themselves a bodybuilder. Technically, you transform, but you're not fooling anyone. Before we hit level 4, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. We're about to meet the creatures that actually deserve their legendary status. Level 4, Phoenix. Finally, a creature with actual power. The phoenix is a bird engulfed in flames that lives for hundreds of years before burning itself to ashes and being reborn from those ashes. Immortality through self-immolation is metal as hell, and the phoenix pulls it off with style. This is a creature that looked at death and said, nah, I'll just respawn. The flames don't just burn, they purify. Phoenix tears can heal wounds, phoenix feathers can be used for powerful magical artifacts. The bird itself is a symbol of renewal, resurrection, and the cycle of life and death. Every culture that has a phoenix myth treats it with reverence because this is a creature that conquered mortality through sheer determination and fire. The phoenix represents transformation and rebirth in a way that actually matters. It doesn't just change appearance like a werewolf or guard treasure like a dragon. It literally dies and comes back stronger. That's a power set that commands respect. The phoenix is what happens when mythology creates something beautiful and powerful without needing it to be threatening. It's not here to destroy you, it's here to remind you that endings are just new beginnings wrapped in flames. Level 5, Kraken. The kraken is a massive cephalopod that lives in the deepest part of the ocean and can drag entire ships to the bottom of the sea. Sailors told stories about tentacles thick as ship masts rising from the water, wrapping around vessels and pulling them down, while crews screamed. The kraken is nightmare fuel for anyone who's ever looked at the ocean and wondered what's down there in the dark. This isn't some tiny magical creature you can catch. The kraken is hundreds of feet long, with tentacles that can crush wood and drown sailors. It doesn't grant wishes or guard treasure. It just exists as an apex predator that reminds humans they don't own the ocean. The kraken appears in Norse mythology as a creature so large that sailors mistook its back for an island, and by the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. The kraken is pure terror. No moral lessons, no symbolic meaning, just a massive creature that kills because that's what apex predators do. It's been referenced in everything from ancient sailor tales to modern pop culture because the concept is timeless. Something massive and unknowable lurking beneath the waves, waiting. The kraken is what happens when mythology creates a creature that doesn't need magic or special powers beyond being really, really big and really, really deadly. Level 6, Hydra. The hydra is a massive serpent with multiple heads, and here's where it gets interesting. Cut off one head and 2 more grow back in its place. This is a creature that gets stronger the more you fight it, which makes it mythology's perfect nightmare boss battle. The hydra guarded the entrance to the underworld in Greek mythology, which tells you everything about how dangerous the ancient Greeks thought it was. Hercules needed divine help to kill the hydra, and even then, it required strategy beyond just hitting it harder. He had to cauterize each neck stump immediately after cutting to prevent regeneration, which meant he needed a teammate with a torch working in perfect coordination while fighting a monster with poisonous breath. One of the heads was immortal and couldn't be killed, so Hercules had to bury it under a massive rock. That's not a monster, that's a military operation. The hydra's blood was so toxic that Hercules dipped his arrows in it, turning every shot into a guaranteed kill for the rest of his labors. This is a creature so dangerous that its bodily fluids become legendary weapons. The hydra represents the perfect mythological challenge, a problem that gets worse the harder you try to solve it, using brute force. It requires intelligence, teamwork, and innovation to defeat. The hydra is what happens when mythology creates a creature specifically designed to punish heroes who think they can solve everything with violence. Level 7, Dragon. The Chinese dragon doesn't just breathe fire, it controls weather, commands water, brings rain to crops, and determines the fate of empires. This isn't a monster to be slain, it's a divine being that emperors claimed descent from. Eastern dragons are symbols of power, wisdom, and cosmic authority. They don't hoard treasure, they are the treasure. They don't terrorize villages, they decide which villages prosper. Unlike Western dragons that represent chaos and destruction, Chinese dragons represent order, prosperity, and imperial power. They have control over water and weather, which, in agricultural societies, meant they literally controlled life and death. Emperors wore dragon robes because associating with dragon imagery meant claiming divine right to rule. The Chinese dragon is so revered that it's been a symbol of power for over 4,000 years. The Chinese dragon is wingless but flies anyway, controlling clouds and sky through pure divine power. It has the head of a camel, horns of a deer, eyes of a rabbit, neck of a snake, belly of a frog, scales of a fish, claws of an eagle, and paws of a tiger. It's a composite of the most powerful animals, a creature designed to represent ultimate authority and cosmic power. The Chinese dragon isn't a creature you fight, it's a force of nature you respect, honor, and hope favors you. It determines harvests, controls floods, and influences the destiny of nations. This is mythology's ultimate expression of power, a creature so revered that entire civilizations built their identity around it. The Chinese dragon is divine authority given form. This is mythological perfection. This is the GOAT. So, which level creature are you choosing as your mythical companion, and which one would absolutely destroy you in a fight? Comment below, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more rankings that prove some legends are worth the hype.